You're watching Life Report. Pro-life talk. Real-world answers. Life Report trains people to more effectively defend their pro-life beliefs while honestly examining the strengths and weaknesses of both sides. We're the show other pro-lifers may have warned you about. This is Life Report.
That smile looked a lot more evil than I meant it to. I just got really excited. I had to grab my blue pen from under the desk so it's not all making the, it's the silver one.
You know what?
Okay, here's what I'm talking about.
Back up.
Here's what I'm talking about. The silver pen that I like to have because it writes nicely. Mm-hmm. We found out it reflects off the lights reflect off it because they're so bright, and so I had to take the white pen off the desk halfway through last episode, and I had barely enough time as the intro was going to grab a blue pen from under the desk, and I got it.
So you did it to not be distracting.
Exactly.
Like this intro was
this
not
whole
distracting.
intro. Hey,
Bingo.
Whatever.
Wow.
Welcome to Life Report.
A+.
This is us. So I've got a quick.
Nice.
Before we get into the topic, we are not spending very much time on this. I have a request to my fellow pro-life people, especially my fellow online pro-life people on Facebook.
Be nice.
Do not take every single opportunity to nitpick people's language to make sure that they're using the most 100% pro-life-ish language. It's really annoying.
No, wait a minute. Okay, no, you don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but isn't that what we do?
No,
it's not
what
do?
we do. It's not what we do. It's what other people do. It's not what I do.
Okay.
I let things go.
Gotcha.
Especially when they're already pro-life, and I'm not needing to nitpick them to death. And I see people do this.
What's an example of
it
nitpicking?
It got done to me, and this was just annoying. This guy's like, dude.
This explains the frustration.
And I probably came off as being a little bit too hard on him. It just really annoyed me. Look, just don't do this, okay? The day before my latest born, second born son, William, newest kid,
Before
the
William
youngest
was born,
one.
would have totally cut it.
Oh, gosh. So 3 months ago, my baby William was born.
Or 9 months ago if you're on KNXT.
It's not that bad.
I'm just saying.
It's like 2 months. So before the day before William was born, right. I had posted on Facebook. I posted an article from a friend of mine named Steve Ertel. He's the editor of LifeNews.com. Mm-hmm. He and I are both on the side against the strategy of personhood state personhood amendments right now.
Right.
We're not getting to that debate right now. It's just he and I are on one side. And he had written, I thought, a good article about it, so I posted it on my Facebook. And you make a comment with the link. So I wrote this. I said, I agree with this article by my friend Steve Ertel. We're having a baby tomorrow, so I offer no promises to enter into a debate in the comments I'm sure are to ensue under this link. Mm-hmm. Did a debate ensue? I said, yes, it did. And I made the mistake of using the phrase, we're having a baby tomorrow, and then this debate happened.
You already have a baby.
Exactly. God.
That's hilarious.
Really? So
really, Josh, you didn't think
banter among pro-lifers?
Yeah.
This is not banter. This is annoying. This is the difference between the two. Look,
they're teasing.
No, it wasn't even teasing.
I bet you would have done the same thing.
I would not have done the same thing. I see that stuff go all the time, and I'm not one of those. Those are the people that think that that fetus is the F word. I'm not. That's not me. I think sometimes I will use fetus. Sometimes I will say child. Sometimes I'll say baby or whatever, unborn, whatever. But there are certain times. But some people get really dogmatic on language. And the guy had to go. This is the pro-personhood guy. Goes on and is like, okay. But before I say his thing, I was really nice. I posted some debate was happening, and this is all I said. Just so everybody knows, I think good people can and will disagree on this complicated topic. I have a lot of respect for some of the leaders in the personhood movement. That was so nice of me. And then at the same time, the pro-personhood guy goes on and says, Josh, one more thing. You aren't having a baby tomorrow. You already have one today. Congrats. Remember, birth is really about meeting your baby face to face. The baby existed beforehand. I know!
Okay. That was a little patronizing. I can read the context.
Full time in the pro-life movement. I know William was already 9-something months old It's just a phrase. It's just a phrase people say. We're having a baby tomorrow.
We ask him if he celebrates birthdays.
Don't. And I didn't. I just was like, I kind of scolded him and then ignored the rest of it. It just don't do that.
I agree. It's not beneficial to be a jerk about things.
And maybe he wasn't trying to be a jerk. Maybe he's just I've got the language police guy. Just don't do that. It's really just don't
making
do
a
that.
point at the expense of someone else.
Anyway.
All right, is that out of your system?
It's out of my
show?
system.
Good.
Finally.
We can
I've been
proceed.
holding it since December. David Lee, we did an interview with David Lee, or I should say, you guys weren't here. I did an interview with David Lee. We recorded it.
The director of
JFA. Director of Justice for All. Thank you. As if everybody just knows who David Lee is. David Lee, we know who David Lee is. He's awesome. You should know who he is. David Lee is the executive director of Justice for All. Their website's jfaweb.org. If you don't already know what Justice for All is, you must be a new listener.
Which is good. We
like go to the website.
Listeners.
And you should go to the website. They've got, in fact, they've just completely redesigned their website.
I haven't been on it
it's
since they redid
so
it.
much better. It's awesome.
Very cool.
So check out the new Justice for All website. Even if you went to the old one, now go check out the new one. It's actually does a better job explaining what their model of mentoring is and things like that.
Awesome.
And so David Lee, who's the executive, was on recently. And we did the celebrity interview, the 9 questions, the survey that
What'd you get in trouble for as a kid, et cetera?
What'd you get in trouble for as a kid? And
good questions.
Yeah, it's good questions. And I think David's the 10th or 11th quote-unquote celebrity we've had do that. I think David did the best job responding to those questions that anybody's ever done.
Nice.
And he is the first person who did it without knowing what the questions were ahead of time. I offered him the list. He's like, no. You don't look at the interview questions ahead of time. I was like, dude, he's hardcore. And then he just nailed those questions. And so you should listen to it. You should listen to it. If you haven't heard it, it was amazing. He said something I've never heard a pro-life, especially a professional pro-life advocate, say. David Lee has been working this movement since, I think, before I was born. Okay? Like, this guy is one of the...
Which
I mean,
is
he's
a
not old. He's
time
just...
ago.
But he's been working this for a long time and doing wonderful work. And he made the comment that everybody's a little bit pro-choice. And what he meant by that is pro-choicers, most pro-choice people, believe that the unborn is not a full person, a valuable human being like you and me. And he said everybody believes that a little bit just to cope with abortion. Just to cope with 3,300 kids dying a day, we all become a little bit pro-choice. And I was like, that's deep.
But thinking about it,
that hasn't left my mind since we sat down and I heard him say that. Because then I had to ask myself, of course, do I think of the unborn as persons? And I'm still kind of wrestling with that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, are you really every day thinking about the hundreds of thousands of children who are being killed?
Yeah, because even though because there are so many dying every day, but if we had heard that type of a news story, of thousands of kids being slaughtered somewhere else, it would affect us differently.
Yeah.
Right, like the tsunami in Japan that happened a while back, and people are like, oh my gosh, it's so tragic, all these deaths, and it's this kind of this new wave of tragedy because it's different than what we see every day.
Right.
I mean, I don't know who said it. At some point I did, but the old adage that one death is a tragedy, 1,000 is a statistic.
That was said by Stalin.
That's right. Who knew
About
making thousands of deaths, killed his own people.
Live listeners, survey. I would like you to comment on whether you're doing the live chat or Facebook or Twitter. Do you think that you act as if you really believe the unborn are persons? I would be interested in hearing all of the people that are live, kind of a survey of that. I think sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Because I think, here's why. I think sometimes I really do, but there's the add-on that I'm aware that it's been legal to kill these persons for a long time. Okay. And that's something that we can't just make go away overnight. A lot of people wish we could make that go away overnight, but slavery wasn't abolished overnight. It took a long time. William Wilberforce worked for like 30 years trying to get, and he only got part of that done. And there's still slavery today. I mean, but the part that he was working on, I mean, this is going to be a long process to turn an entire social movement around that, or a generation that believes that the unborn aren't persons, or at least aren't valuable in the way that you and I are.
But, I mean, can you even go through life?
And that's the question.
Sorry. But yeah, can you even take that approach? We've all seen Schindler's List.
Yeah.
And I know you use this in your speeches a lot, Josh, the end. when he realizes that he kept his car, his pen.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have sold those. He could, and he's just completely devastated that he didn't do more. That he wasn't necessarily. You could have said he was a little pro-Nazi, by keeping those few things, not taking it. But he did so much,
right.
and if you dwell completely in the misery and defeat
right.
and the horribleness, you might not see that hope.
Right.
Well, I mean,
and just to finish our point, the question that we ask, and this is straight from Scott Klusendorf, is are we taking our Holocaust as seriously as Oskar Schindler took his? I think almost always the answer is no. Real quick, before Andrew, once again, for our live listeners, I'm going to repeat the question. Here's the question I'm asking for you to answer. Do you think that you, look at yourself, do you personally really act like and believe that the unborn are full persons as if there are 3,000 newborns being killed every day? Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I mean, use an example of like medics in war. The same type of thing. If you're around it so much, they're actually in it, but you can't look at it that way. You have to be objective about it from the standpoint of keeping your own sanity, because of just dealing with that every day. I mean, coming across all these different horrific things that any normal person would just lose their stomach and they just lose their mind about, and you're living in that. They would have to in their own mind kind of remove themselves from the personhood of the individuals they're helping, and just that they're trying to save the people. And so in the same way, while I would hope that none of us ever truly think of them not as humans, but in the same, because we are in it, and it is the reality of it that there are 3,000 dying every day. You can't. It's I would say I think you have to cope.
And that well, go ahead. I interrupted you.
Just to kind of piggyback on what Andrew's saying, I think that in any aspect of life, we're never completely aware of things as we should be. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. You might not always feel a certain way towards a person. I mean, those of us who are married, we know we're not always completely feeling that absolute love and joy with spouse. But what defines you as being loving, or as being pro-life, or as viewing someone as a person is what you do. Yeah. And the choices that you make to reflect that. And
I think that's a really important point.
I mean, yes, I admit it. Before even coming to the podcast today, to do this, to come and be pro-life, I probably didn't think about abortion all day.
No.
I was thinking about other things. I wasn't really thinking about and wasn't really concerned with. I wasn't praying for the unborn. Things I should be doing as a pro-life person. But, just because I didn't, that doesn't mean I'm not pro-life. Right. My coming here and speaking out is an action that defines who I am.
Right. Being
able to speak up. I mean, I could go on and on about the things that you can do.
There's a desensitization that happens. You can. I'm sure you can.
Well, I think it's a reaction.
It is.
Is what more than
like a
anything
safety
else.
So is there something, since that is a natural human reaction, is that something that we got to fight?
I mean,
I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, I think the fact of people taking a stance against it is kind of part of fighting that reaction, because it is something that is acceptable to. I love the quote from I think it's Winston Churchill, is that or like something along the lines of having enemies means that you stood up for something. Like I welcome the fact that I have enemies because it means that I stood for something.
Right.
And so that's the type of thing is the human reaction is to kind of just be kind of bystander and just kind of let things happen. But the fact that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, or approaching it and trying to do something about it, I think is one step